Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro Adventures. Because at the end of another week, the end of our poll, we've got a fantastic win for Cabin Fever for the Cyberpunk role-playing game. Now this is going to be a review of the PDF, so we'll be going over to the computer desktop to have a look at that in a wee second. And as usual, I'll be back at the end of the video with some other channel-related stuff and some other poll-related stuff. But before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to talk about my Patreons, who this week I've been told that they know they've got to wake up, samurai, they've got a city to burn. Now these are wonderful, wonderful people who make all of this possible, so their efforts are massively appreciated and I'd like to thank them from the absolute bottom of my heart. But if you'd like to join them and help support the channel, and I sure wish you would, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, or you'd like to gain access to one of the other levels of patronage we've got, then there's a Patreon in the description down below. If you check it out, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's have a look at Cabin Fever.
So, this is Cabin Fever, which came out from Atlas Games in 1994 for Cyberpunk 2020. And this was very, very different to what I expected. The image on the cover sold me on a high-action adventure, and that's what I thought we were going to have. Lots of going around on watercraft, lots of explosions, that kind of stuff. But what we've got instead is a very high-tension, high role-playing adventure, which is set around a single location. The players are stuck in one area for much of the adventure, and it's all about the advancing tension in that area and the role-playing that's going on between them and the NPCs who are also stuck in that location. There's secrets to be discovered, there's people about to explode. It's very, very different from any adventure I've written before. I think it might be quite hard to run. But let's have a look at the back cover first of all. Clouds of Uncertainty. Net 54 Special Report. We interrupt our normally scheduled program to bring you this special frontline report. Here is Nancy Camella. Good evening, I'm Nancy Camella. Just moments ago in the Night City Bay between the Del Coronado Bridge and North Marina Harbor, a tanker belonging to Petrochem Corporation ignited in a fiery cloud that was subject to unwarranted attack. Let us know of the saboteurs of this at this time, though there is some suspect corporate terrorism. The danger of this explosion, however, is not the perpetrators, but the possibly lethal gaseous chemicals that have formed as a result of the explosion. A cloud of this chemical mixture, hydrogen fluoride, or HF for short, is currently spreading over the Marina district at an alarming rate. Residents of the Bay Area and surrounding neighborhoods are urged to stay indoors, seal windows and doors with towels, and deactivate air conditioning systems until further information is acquired about the nature of this spill and the resulting cloud. Exposure could result in illness or possibly even death. For a better look at this cloud, here is Bob Collier. Bob? Goss, quick boys, next to you see you fumbling. Fit in clumsy helmets just in time, but someone was still yelling out and stumbling. And floundering like a man on lime, dim through misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea I saw him drowning, and all my dreams before helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. Dulce et decorum est by Wilfred Owen. Is HF really as nasty as it sounds? You can bet it's life it is. HF solutions, hydrofluoric acid, in contact with skin result in marked tissue destruction. Undissociated HF readily penetrates skin and deep tissue, where the corrosive fluoride ion can cause necrosis of soft tissues and decalcification of bone. The destruction is excruciatingly painful. So, that's the setup for the adventure. The players are hired as normal cyberpunk edgerunners to go and raid a boat to achieve, to acquire something off the boat. And when they get there, the boat explodes, releasing this large cloud, and the players have to take cover. And the rest of the adventure is about what happens when they've taken cover. And that's obvious from the back of the book, so I'm not really presenting any spoilers there. But I have been asked in previous adventure videos to not provide spoilers, so before we delve in any further, if you don't want any spoilers in this adventure, then switch off now. Anyway, inside, we've got these set up for a standard adventure. But this is laid out very, very nicely. So we've got a table of contents. We've got, before you start, a note from the author about cabin fever. The adventure is designed to be a locked room scenario, meaning that it will eventually confine the player characters in a small, inescapable place and force them to resolve issues with the resources at hand. It's also a wonderful environment to promote role-playing and long scenes of conversation. And that's what the adventure's about, because here they provide different symbols. So you can see clock face. As the time clicks down and they are stuck in this location, things will happen at certain times. We've got things which appear on the news. Time for when it's sink or swim. A cloud leakage as the gaseous cloud outside starts to leak in. Cellular phones, when you can use them and when you can't, because it's a disaster, so contact has been cut down. And cards. Team of nervous PCs cooped up in a small place, things can get downright dangerous. These cards mark the page that lists a few activities to pass the time. And we've got the introduction, where the people are introduced to a fixer, Silver Shark, who is going to send them on this mission. How they gather the group. Errands they need to do. About the boat driver who's going to take them out to this tanker, which they're going to raid. The rest of the briefing. They've got shopping, so if they need to acquire any equipment. The real story behind what's going on. And then we've got the mission itself. And it's a foggy night, so it's useful for them. They're going out in the fog to sneak onto a boat. Arriving at a dock. And then as they're travelling out, they witness the catastrophe. Arabia Wish lights up the sky with a sick orange plume of smoke and fire. Because the characters are at water level, initial survivability chances are higher. Because they're on their way out there, the boat explodes, releasing all this gas. They have to turn around. We've got the chances of being hit by shrapnel. Thunderous clap. What's that smell as the gas starts to come out? An acidic substance in O2 atmosphere. As they start moving away, the boat starts to fail. It's been damaged in the explosion, so they're going to have to find a way out. So they have a chance of diving in the sea and swimming for it. And eventually they get to the dock. And while there's other ways off the dock, the place they're supposed to be meeting up with their fixer is there. So that's the most likely place they'll go. There's a few ideas for what will happen, if they try to escape past it, going into the city itself. The explosion will be like a mushroom cloud going up and coming down. So they're in the clear patches between the initial stalk and the outside of it. So the gas will be coming back at them through side streets, forcing them into shelter on the dock. The other buildings on the dock are all sealed up for the night. It's the middle of the night, so with metal shutters. The only place they can go into is the bar where their fixer is. It's really railroading them a bit, but it makes the sense for where they'll go. We've got the NPCs, the different people in their location, and what happens as they go in. Because they can be going up to their fixer and making demands. But they're stuck in this place. As it said on the news report at the back, people are being advised to seal it, put towels on the cracks under the doors and windows. And they're the ones that know what's going on. The people in the bar are oblivious to it. So they've got the choice of whether they're going to go up and confront their fixer. He's the one that's landed them in all this trouble. Are they going to make demands of him, or are they going to try and work out what the hell's gone on? And there's various other things. So we've got the aggressive approach. More problems that crops up. One of the people in the bar is somebody who's got a lot of cyberware. They're on the edge of going cyber psycho, and they're in a very tense situation. So will this drive him over the edge? We've got the sections on the waiting game. Now, because the police are aware this was a terrorist action, they have shut down all the phones in the area. It will stop bad news getting out, but it'll stop the terrorists from contacting their people as well. So everybody's mobile phones and systems stop working. There's chances of getting through, but they'll be redirected to the police mainly. So we've got what's happening if they get in contact back at the bar. their attempts to use their phones, attempts to use modems to reach the net, and contacting media. Because obviously the media will be very interested in knowing what's going on, especially a story from within the catastrophe area. Contacting quick response team, Petrochem, contacts relatives, just different people you might contact. We've got different icebreakers and other fillers, things which are going on in the bar while they're waiting, because they might be stuck in there for some time. So are they going to play cards with people? Are they going to check what other resources are available? Are they going to swap stories with the NPCs? Are they just going to sit back? There's news coming in from the news reports. There's TVs on in the bar so they can see what's being reported about the catastrophe that they're stuck in the middle of. Other actions, what happens. Again, news updates. News from the vice president. What's on TV on the other channels. As I said, lots of information coming in. Lots of encounters that go on throughout their time until eventually they get a chance of getting out. And Petrochem troopers will take them out and interrogate them. They're basically captured by the people who owned the boat, but the players never actually did anything. So it's a matter of what they're going to say. There's no evidence linking them to it, although they were out on the water and they rushed into the bar. So the stories of lots of other people there. But the players weren't actually involved. They never got there. So are they going to tell the truth? But that's admitting they were going to do a crime against Petrochem. Are they going to make something up? Have they discussed this when the players were all together? Or are they getting taken and split up and interrogated separately? And everybody's coming up with their own story. We've got deck plans of the boat. We've got a plan of the bar. Some various information, keys to the map, and general inventory of what's available in the bar. A plan of the harbour side and the boat. So the Arabia's Wish, the ship that they're boarding, is out there. There's a Weird Stuff warehouse, which is closed. There's Joe's Diner, which is closed, and there's Paradise Lost. There's these side streets, but as I said, this chemical will be coming down and flowing back along these, so they won't have any choice. They're stuck in between the explosion here and the gas released, and the gas coming back at them. A handout. Damage report, which will be shown, showing the area that's covered by the gas cloud. And that's it. It's a very interesting adventure from role-playing, because you're having to talk people down. You're having to discuss what's on, because some of the people in the bar might actually be connected to the real explosion. I'm really trying not to reveal too much what's going on in it. But there's stories to be discovered, there's people to talk down, there's their fixer there who knows more than he's letting on at the start. It's a really, really tense situation. But as I said, this is tension of a different type to a normal role-playing game. Normally in a role-playing game, your tension is based around gunning people down, combat, getting past security guards, whatever. Whereas this is tension about what's happening in the enclosed area, as people react to that, as the NPCs react to it. It's a really, really good adventure. I just think it might be really hard to run.
So that was Cabin Fever, and that won the poll this week on a massive 39% of the vote, way ahead of everything else. And it's really not what I expected. When I saw the title and I saw the cover artwork, in my head what I built this up to be was another Ducks Out of Water story, much like Northwest Passage, which we covered a few months ago. And this one in my head was the players going down to the southern states of the United States, somewhere like Louisiana, where there's lots of swamps and things, and having to use boats to do a raid. And then they'd be hiding out in a cabin in the aftermath of that raid. Hence the name, Cabin Fever, and the boats on the cover. But it's totally not that. And it's so much better. I thought it was going to be fairly routine. And it's perhaps one of the most unique adventures I've looked at. Very, very interesting stuff. Now, as I said, that won on 39% of the vote. In second place was Mediterranean Cruise for Twilight 2000 on 28%. And I'm kind of sad we're not continuing that, but on a 28%, it'll probably win a future one, and we'll work our way through that short campaign aboard the nuclear submarine, the last submarine. In third place, on 20%, was Grace Under Pressure for Call of Cthulhu. And this is an adventure I also didn't know much about, but from my reading of it, it looked fascinating. It was very much a very capsule environment adventure where the players are stuck in submersibles underwater, very much like The Abyss and many other movies of the 90s. So I'd have been fascinated by that, but again, that'll go in future polls and we'll get around to it. And in last place was Ice Demon for Dark Conspiracy on 13%. And I'm really saddened by that. I love myself Dark Conspiracy, but alas, it does seem to be quite forgotten. Although I did get a very nice comment on one of my older Dark Conspiracy videos from somebody who remembers it as fondly as I do. But anyway, they're all wiped out the poll. And we're back to a retro RPG one. Now these first two ones are suggestions by viewers. First up, we've got the A Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game by Green Ronin from 2012. Now this is the Game of Thrones role-playing game, something I don't know much about. It seems very much like something I would normally watch and catch up on, but when it came out, me and my wife watched the first 2 episodes, and then while I was at work, she watched the first season, she binged it. So I just never got around to catching up. She bought the novels and read it and absolutely loved it, although fell out of love with the TV series I think after season 2. But I know nothing more than the first 2 episodes. I really don't know much about it. So if we cover this, I'm going to be very much learning a lot. Second up, we've got Mutant Epoch by Outland Arts from 2011. Now this is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game, something very much I like, so I think I'll enjoy looking through this if it wins. But apart from that, I don't know much at all. Third up, we've got Roadhogs for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles role-playing game from Palladium, and it came out in 1986. Now, we've covered Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we've covered After the Bomb for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is the Mad Max one, where you're using vehicles on the post-apocalyptic landscape and people are mutated animals. I think that sounds a load of fun, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was great, so I'd love to cover this, but we shall see. And finally up, we've got Hardwired the Sourcebook for the Cyberpunk role-playing game by Artalzurian Games, and it came out in 1989. Now, we've covered one of the sourcebooks before, where it takes Cyberpunk's rules but throws the setting out. And from what I understand, Hardwire the Sourcebook does that as well. So it'll be fascinating to look at Cyberpunk reskinned into something different and see how that works. Whether it's perhaps more pure, whether it's got some really interesting ideas. We shall see if we get to cover it. But it's in your hands now. You make up your decision. What else have I been up to? Well, not actually that much. As usual, I'm trying to release stuff on DriveThruRPG, but I've not really written much this week. But over on RPG Gamer, we're covering Skeleton Crew now. With all the episodes out, and with me having got through the Young Jedi Adventures, now I'm statting out the episodes of Skeleton Crew, working my way through it, all 8 episodes, and there's so much to cover because they really did put loads and loads into the series. So I'm having a lot of fun creating up the characters, the ships, the droids, everything. It's a great time. If you're a fan of Star Wars D6 system, come on over and check it out and give your suggestions on how you think these things can be improved, because I know my ideas are not perfect. But anyway, I think I've been wittering on for quite long enough as usual, so thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.